Elevation and gravity will always be OP in these games. Yeah, elevation will be a problem in Elden Ring. Like, I noticed in the network test, like, I'd say a good, like, 10%, like, I'm not even joking, a good 10% of all my attacks thrown were too high. Because, you know, it's an open world, so there's all kinds of different terrain. And the terrain is pretty much always uneven, right? Look at Dark Souls 3. Look at where we're standing right now. Look at that. All flat. If we were to go, like, in the stairs, we would have the same issue. But Elden Ring open world is pretty much like when we're in the staircase everywhere. And so the elevation is, like, very, very problematic. And on top of that... Oh, I didn't want to cast here. On top of that, the hitboxes in Elden Ring are generally smaller from what I noticed. Like, they wanted to reduce phantom range, and so they reduced a lot of the hitbox size. And so if you take that into account, that they reduce the size of the hitboxes, and there's elevation everywhere, you have like 10% of all your attacks thrown in the open world that will miss due to elevation, at least in PvP. At least with the lance. It's probably going to be different with, like, say, a scimitar, but at least with the lance, that's how it felt like. Spacing is easier? Yeah, I agree there. I think whiff punishing, though, is harder because of the lower recovery. I don't know if you'll agree on that. Like, as much as spacing is easier, like, if you space someone, you're not going to get your guaranteed hit most of the time because the recovery on everything is just so damn low. You know what's funny? I actually, you know, the diaper thing, it's the first time that I was confronted with the idea that adults could wear diapers was when I was very young. I've actually walked into a casino at a, like, very, very young age, and my parents went to explain to me that the people sitting at the slot machine, like, some of them wore diapers because they didn't want to lose their machine. And so that kind of marked me, you know, that like sort of traumatized me. And I heard that same thing, like, later on with people playing World of Warcraft, how, like, some people, like, that play all day actually wear diapers. I hate CBV stun. That guy has good net. I mean, it was coming. I was just waiting for it.
Be formless.
That's some next level trash talk. I'm being dead honest. Like, that's just what I heard. It isn't stable on new-gen consoles. The frame rate is not stable on new-gen consoles. You can watch Digital Foundry on YouTube. Digital Foundry, like, always makes these frame rate analysis and, like, stability and pixel count and all that stuff. And it's quite interesting. They did it for the network test as well. And the only way you could run Elden Ring at 60 FPS during the network test is if you had the PS4 Pro unlocked version of the network test running on a PS5. That was the only way you could get 60 FPS. Even though PS5 and Xbox Series X had a performance mode, the performance mode dipped significantly at times. And for those of you who've played the network test on these systems, you will probably have noticed it as well. Yeah. I don't know why he didn't roll there. That's sad? Yeah, I mean... Keep in mind, like, yeah, we played a beta, we didn't play the actual game. Like, to me, this is the sort of stuff that's likely gonna get, like, either a day one patch or even be addressed out of the box. That's what I think. Could be wrong though, but like to be fair, like From has never been known for their technical aspect. Like their games really don't run the best if you compare like the amount of tech that's in them. And what I mean by that is like for this sort of graphics, these like resolutions and all that stuff, like there isn't enough going on screen to warrant not being at a steady 60, for instance, right? That's what I mean. Like they've never really been very good at that, but hopefully with Elden Ring, they take extra care with that. Now on PC, it's never an issue because on PC you can always crank the amount of power your PC has, and you can reduce some settings, can tweak things a little more. I wish there was more. I mean, we're slowly leaning toward that even on console. The like now, games are starting to have a performance mode and a fidelity mode. That's a good start. Oh, obviously it's nowhere near the amount of customization you get on PC. Like you can tweak like the grass density and stuff like that on PC, which like the resolution, all that stuff, that helps massively with performance, like those kind of tweaks, the shadows, all of that. And so you can have a game that still looks great on PC while being able to retain a very good FPS. Guy fell, yeah, he did. That's like definitely one of the big advantage of playing on PC. You can tweak the settings, the technical settings of the game so that you have a game how you want it for your system. If you have a good system, you can crank everything up. It will look great, have all of the blings and whistles, and will probably run even better just because you have a very powerful machine. Or if your machine is not as powerful, you can make the sacrifice where you want it to be. And so if you want to keep that steady 60, you'll be able to do that even with a subpar machine. The graphics will just be toned down to reflect that. Yeah, definitely a big advantage of PC there. You think Elden Ring will have a functioning anti-cheat on PC? No. And that's probably the reason why I'm gonna start on console and probably move to PC once there is a good anti-cheat in place. Perhaps like I'll be adopting some of the things I did not like in Dark Souls 3, which are like Blue Sentinel and that sort of stuff. Like I didn't like any anti-cheats, but I feel like if I start streaming on PC more and more, I'll probably need that to like not get crashed or anything like that. So we'll see. We're not there yet. We'll see. I don't like having like any other software or any third-party like thing that like gives me the power to become invincible in like one click or something like that. I don't want that. Like I've seen so many players using CE, for instance, or even Blue Sentinel. Like so many players using CE that just accidentally forget to turn off like fucking invincibility or turn it on, or you know, like I've seen that happen to like even people that are like honest, and it's like it's so cringe to me. I hate that. Like I hate that with passion. It's so stupid. It even happens in tournament. Like some players in tournament actually like had invincibility on, like in a fucking tournament, where it says like clearly in the rules that you're not supposed to use like anything, and then the dude, even though he didn't do it on purpose, obviously, dude still had the fucking like the fucking guts to have CE open during a tournament and forgot to like, or you know, press the button by mistake, or I don't fucking care what happened, but he was invincible during the actual tournament. I remember that. I wasn't the one fighting against them, but I saw that live on Twitch. Like to me, that's like a it's so like, it's like a parody. Like what is going on there? And the issue with that is that it's not even about people having bad intentions. Like that's the worst part. It's like even if people do have good intentions, those things will happen. It's just how it is. Like those things will happen, and so that's why I don't like all these like you know, extra software that Doesn't matter what they're intended to. There's always like a dark side to them and an inconvenience to them for other players or other people.